My job, I work in inclusivity in sport and the arts, and I look after lots of LGBTQ plus people that are in sport and the media and in the theatre and swimmers and all sorts. And about a year ago, I had a conversation with this guy, and I'd seen his stuff on the internet. And actually what happened was, his dog was really poorly. He's got a couple of dogs who he dotes on, and one of his dogs was really sick. And that's how we got to know each other. And I said to him today, without sounding bad, I'm so glad your dog got sick. Because he's now become, I look after him, I manage him, I look after him on a day-to-day basis. And I've got to say, it is an absolute pleasure. He is the nicest, most genuine, honest, down-to-earth person you will ever meet. And all he is interested in is getting it out there that you guys need to be looked after, need to be respected for who you are. So please, can we have a really big round of applause for my best friend, Jaxon Feeley?
Am I getting up here?
And shout.
I will. Right. A man is a man, and a woman is a woman. That is just common sense. The words of a man who is supposed to be leading this country. A man whose ignorant, uneducated, and inhumane decision-making has an impact on an entire nation. A great leader is described as someone who inspires confidence in other people and helps move them to action. With this one sentence, Rishi Sunak has destroyed the confidence that has taken the transgender community decades to build. He has obliterated any feeling of safety and broken the hearts of parents and families around the country that now fear for their children's future. He has given the green light to isolate, abuse and attack transgender people and reignited what was already a permanent state of living in fear. He has provided Britain with the permission to dispose of us. So, we can either stay here and get trampled all over, or we can fight our way back. Every single time this community gets knocked down, we come back stronger than ever. Look around you. Look at the power of what we have created today. Look at the presence of authenticity and truth. We know what it means to never give up. We know what it means to do the most terrifying things to find happiness. We know what it means to be in the gutter, to feel worthless and lonely and stuck in the dark with no way out. Everybody has a moment in their life when they realise they can either move forward or give up. And every single one of you here today has never given up. And that certainly is not going to start now. I want to speak to the people who feel they have lost their worth or value since Rishi Sunak opened his mouth. Who feels like that? Okay. I have here a £10 note. If I screw this up into a ball, how much is it worth then?
£10.
£7? £8? How much is it worth? What if I screw it up in a ball and I throw it on the floor and I stamp on it? How much is it worth then? What if I screw it up, I stamp on it, and then I cut it in half? How much is it worth then? How much is it worth? It will always be worth 10 English pounds. Because no matter what you go through in life, what gets thrown at you, what happens to you, you don't allow anyone to dictate to you who you are, who you can be, or how much worth and value you hold. Because no matter what, you are worthy, you are valued, and you are loved. So, you have to pick yourself up, fight back, never give up, and believe in your truth with every bone in your body, because we will not be cast aside anymore. Cisgender, heterosexual people are deciding whether or not we deserve human rights. This has got to end. We cannot lean on the understanding or empathy of cisgender, heterosexual people to protect and fight for our basic human rights. Our freedom to exist, access employment, shelter, education, safety, healthcare, and anything else any human being needs to thrive in their lifetime should not be at the mercy of people who do not understand or share our experiences, let alone believe our identities are valid. Everyone has a say on how transgender people live before they do. And we need our government to listen to us in regards to our needs and not listen to the people who are inexperienced and unqualified to make those decisions. We are all worthy of safety and protection everywhere, especially in the country that we call home. In the year of 2023, we should not be stood here today using our bodies, our voices, and our defiance to protest the oppressive movement and the people who continue to endorse it. During his speech, Rishi Sunak spoke of his grandfather and the proud moment they shared together the first time he came to Parliament to see him. He spoke of how his granddad pulled out his mobile phone and called the landlady he had when he first moved to this country, stating, "I just had to tell her where I was." Rishi Sunak went on to say that he is proud to be the first British Asian Prime Minister, but he is even prouder that it's just not a big deal. Without open-minded, humane people in this world, people who are willing to learn, to look past the surface level and accept us for the human being we present before them, there would never be any changes in society. We wouldn't be where we are today, and he certainly would not have experienced that special moment he shared with his grandfather. For someone who knows the impact of being part of a minority group, someone who knows the struggle to be accepted for the person you are, it is unbelievably disappointing and heartbreaking that he has taken such a stance against this community. I have served this country for the last 10 years in both the armed forces and the prison service. And to hear the leader of this country blatantly state that my identity does not exist knocked me physically sick. I thought about how he would feel should he have needed my help in any of the situations in which the armed forces and the prison service protect him and our nation from what is bad in the world. Would he have refused my service because I did not fit into the binary societal expectation he is so convinced is true? Would he have stopped me in the middle of danger and chaos to assess what genitalia I have? Or whether I identified to what my birth certificate states? The answer to those questions is no. Because every single person in this world is a human before anything else. Human rights are trans rights, and trans rights are human rights. My first thought when I heard Rishi Sunak's words were for his children. And for everyone's children out there and future children to come into this world. We often forget who is watching and listening to everything we do. They take it in, they remember, and they imitate. Rishi Sunak's children will have heard his words last week and leading them to believe that 1, gender is binary, which is about correct to saying the earth is flat. 2, it is dangerous to explore and live your truth. And 3, that unfortunately, their own father is not a safe space for them to go to. I tried for 28 years to be the girl I thought I was supposed to be, before stating to my parents that it was a dead daughter or a living son. And no, like most families, they didn't understand at first, but that's okay. It was hard and terrifying and brought every emotion under the sun. It took time and several uncomfortable conversations. It took learning and patience and grasping every bit of understanding we could from all of us. Because although someone doesn't die, you do have to grieve a person. I've had to grieve Jess, and so has everyone who knew and loved her for 28 years. However, 3 years later, they have seen the light come back in their child's eyes. Now they look at me as Jax and go, oh my God, that was absolutely right. Thank God you did that. They see and understand now how much living your truth really does save lives. But instead of being able to appreciate that joy from the beginning, they were faced with the fear and horror of the world I was walking into, worrying about how life is hard enough without having to face this as well, panicking about my safety working in a prison, my safety walking down the street, my safety today being here fighting for what I believe in. My family, along with so many others, have been through enough. We as a community have been through enough. Our trans siblings and future generations are now at massive risk for their future. And as we all know, visibility is the very thing that reassures someone that their life is worth living. And if queer children cannot see themselves represented in this world, how on earth can they see a future with them in it? So before we leave here today, I only have one question for the Prime Minister, the government, and for anyone out there who sees this, who has even one person or child in their life that they care about. If they come to you tomorrow to tell you the option is lose their life or transition and live authentically themselves, what is your answer then? Thank you.
Thank everybody for coming.
Got me, but I love you. I'm so proud.